Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome to The Well, your source for the latest in the field of after school and summer learning programs. We're here with our colleague, Frank Escobar from the Visalia Unified School District. Hey, what's up, Frank?
Bruno, how you doing?
Good, man. So you're doing big things with the Facebook page Strive. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we're trying. It's that mechanism to help connect with our site leads across the state of California. Oftentimes, we hear that they feel like they're on an island out there all by themselves. And so just trying to utilize the current technology and get them more connected and also more connected both with each other, but also with the great stuff that's happening in the field and resources to support their work. So
Yeah.
we're excited about it, that it's growing.
So, Frank, in your opinion, how important are the site leads to this whole thing of what we call expanded learning?
Well, so I don't want to undervalue any other position or piece of this work, but I would say that they are generally like the quarterback of an after school program. It seems to be that as an after school program goes, the site lead pretty much touches everything for it, and so there's so much that either comes through or that requires the support, guidance, management, monitoring, uh, leadership of a site coordinator for it to have an impact on quality in the program. So I think for that regard, they're critical. And I think the saying is often true: as goes the site coordinator, so goes the program. So I guess we'll sum it up that way. That's about how I feel.
Yeah, for sure. So I know that you're a big advocate for our site leads everywhere. So, as a matter of fact, story that a lot of people don't know is that infamous, now famous white paper you wrote a couple of years back. You presented it at the pool of the Boost conference to a
Right,
couple of colleagues, including Michael Funk from the California Department of Education. And
right.
from there started the initial conversations for what would become the quality standards for expanded learning programs, the continuous quality improvement cycle, the emphasis on site coordinators everywhere as it relates to technical assistance. So you were the initial spark catalyst, and you've been a champion all along for our site coordinators. So how many programs do you currently serve in Visalia? How many kids do you serve? How many staff members do you have? Tell us a little bit more about what you do in your community.
Sure. So in Visalia Unify, we're about 40 school sites strong. We have after school programs at every single one of those sites, including a couple of alternative sites. Um, my particular role currently is to specifically manage our middle school sites, which is 5. And then we subcontract as a district with a local community-based organization, Pro Youth Heart, who has been working and facilitating expanded learning programs at our elementary and high schools for over a decade now. We as a district work closely with them to collaborate and make sure that those programs are well supported and of high quality. So I would say that district wide, we serve over 4,000 students annually, and touch the lives of many families that are associated with those students. At the middle school level, we service over 600 students a year, just at the middle school level. Lots of staff. Offhand, you could probably do the math, looking at about 100 to 200 kids per site, depending of how many staff. But we're looking upwards around close to 100 staff across our district that are part of our expanded learning community.
Yeah. So, Frank, obviously, I know Visalia very well and the community that lives in Visalia and the surrounding area. So, there's a huge Latino Hispanic population there.
Yep.
Obviously, we know now with data from the Department of Education that 88.5% of all students that we served last year in expanded learning are students of color. Can you tell us a
Right.
little bit about the community that you serve, and what are some of the programs or practices that to support those students of color?
Absolutely. So I'm not familiar with the most current data in terms of our community. The city of Visalia is about 130,000 people, and I think we're above about the 70% mark in terms of Latino population. We're probably in the 75% to 80% mark in terms of uh, uh, population of color, and that's pretty reflective in our school sites.
Hmm.
Obviously, we have pockets across the community that are going to have higher numbers and populations of students of color. I would say that we probably have 6 to 7 elementary sites that are in the 90 and plus range of students of color, and quite a few others that are above 70% students of color. Few sites that are, over 90% free and reduced. So, we certainly that's a powerful influence in our community here. And as a result, I think community-wide, but also district-wide, we've really worked proactively to reflect that community's needs and to support that community's needs, both in the hiring process, but also in the resources and the way that we deliver and facilitate program. Obviously, being a part of the Men and Boys of Color, MBK movement, Sisters of Color movement, we've taken steps in the expanded learning field to specifically address those areas and to do things in our programs and with our students of color and not of color uh, to help support those needs at greater rates and to help them be successful and overcome a lot of the statistical challenges that we know exist out there. And I mean, I think you know I won't say that we are experts in any means, but we are certainly pioneering practices and efforts in lots of different ways to see what sticks and what works.
Yeah, so Frank, in your experience, obviously you are a local expert. You've been doing this now for a long time at a very high level. You now also do a lot of trainings regionally. You're also influencing a lot of policy and systems statewide. And obviously, being co chair of the leadership team of the California After School Network, you have gotten your taste at the national level as well as it relates to the expanded learning field. So, what would you say to the local site coordinator who is thinking to him or herself about, can I make this into a career? So obviously your journey started from your days playing college football to playing semi-pro football to then getting into the school district, and we made another video about that which you can watch and I'll link it on the description below. But for those who continue to ask me, can you make this into a career, what would you say to them?
Well, I'd say heck yes. And I'd say that it's all a matter of how bad do you want to make this a career of yours. There may not be as much of a market or as many access points or to a degree, opportunities to scale up as in other industries. But, you know, if you're passionate about it, you're going to stand out in this work. And when you stand out in this work, individuals like yourself and others are going to take notice and are going to begin to follow and I would say intentionally begin to develop and build capacity in you, invest in you, so that those doors begin to open for you,
Yeah.
right? I think the wonderful thing about our field is that it is the perfect, ideal college age opportunity, that someone that wants to get in wants to see if this is the kind of line of work, whether it's education, youth development, recreation, that they want to be in, or if they already know, to get in this way, get your feet wet, start understanding, what this work is about, start soaking not just the technical aspect, but the cultural aspect and the spiritual aspect of this work, so you really know what it would be like to actually pursue a career in this, and then you just learn. Just soak it up, ask questions, make connections with folks that are in higher levels in this field, and before you know it, if you want them to, those doors will open. And I think about the book that many of us have read back in the day, Malcolm Gladwell's The Tipping Point. And if you recall, a big focus of that book was on how one strengthens their weak ties versus their strong ties.
Mm-hmm.
Strong ties being people, places, and things that you're already familiar with. Weak ties being people, places, and things that you're not already familiar with. And if you want to advance, or if you want to strengthen opportunities in a particular area, you really cultivate and foster those weak ties, because that's where those doors that aren't currently open will begin to open for you. And I would say to our site coordinator community out there, like, if this is touching your heart, and if you would love to do this full time, maybe not site coordinator, but after school or expanded learning in general, go strengthen your weak ties out there. Go meet people. Go do things. Go go to places and spaces that this field is rich in that you haven't already, and begin to let people know that that's what you want to do. And before you know it, people's eyes will start following you. Before you know it, you'll start getting calls. You'll start having conversations, and doors will begin to open.
I remember there was a time when we couldn't get you out of the Central Valley. And now, you being statewide all the time, we can't get you to come home. And so it's really about those relationships. Frank, I
Absolutely.
actually have a challenge for you. I
Okay.
would I would love to tell our viewers all about your Facebook page called Strive, and the resources that are there and the messages. So to get them there, I am challenging you to find that white paper where the site coordinator or the site lead is at the heart and center of this entire field. Post it up on our Facebook Strive page, and then I will link the Strive page below so that folks can go and read that white paper, knowing that that was written well before the quality standards for expanded learning, well before the continuous quality improvement process initiative, well before this emphasis on technical assistance, so that you can see how passion and good ideas go a long way into making this field move forward. Would you take me up on that offer?
I'm all in, buddy. I'm all in. And and let me say this, Bruno, really quickly, if I could, about the white paper. I just I wanna make reference that the the information in that white paper is what many of us have been talking about for many, many years. Wasn't my idea. Really, all I did was find the time to put it in writing, for many of us, but it was really, that writing was reflective of so many conversations that many of us colleagues and peers were having over the years and feeling, right? And I just found the time, because I have a little time off during the summer, to actually put it down in paper. But it's also a good example of that. When something is touching you, something is pressing on you, you know don't suppress it. Let it out and go take action on it, and you'll be so surprised
Mm-hmm.
what will come of it, and the things that you will never have imagined that will start peeking up and surfacing as a result of that action taken. It'll blow your mind. And so, I would just say, to add that to our coordinators, if it's pressing on you, act on it, and good things will happen. But I'm all in on that challenge. I will definitely post that up in the next couple of days. So be on the lookout for it.
Great, Frank. Thank you so much for your time. I want to leave our viewers with one more thing. You obviously do a lot of keynote speeches, a lot of speaking engagements these days. But what people need to realize, as we continue to build relationships, and what you said about that white paper, the best speakers are often the best listeners. And keeping your ear open to the community, to how they're feeling, to their needs, to their wants, and just being able to provide a voice and a platform for what they have been saying all along is leadership in itself. So, Frank,
Absolutely.
thank you for your leadership. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the world of expanded learning. Until next time.
Got it. Thank you, Bruno.
Thanks, Frank. Talk to you soon.